Hey guys, right before the video starts, I just want y'all to know I'm trying to get a Dragon Ball Z channel started, also a Naruto channel, and a gaming channel. If that interests any of y'all, there's one magical link down below. You click on that bad boy, it's going to take you to where you need to, find any one of those. I would appreciate it because I like to do the Dragon Ball Z story. I'm learning on the Naruto story, but I got to get a couple people, find some people that are interested in this. So please check that out and enjoy the video. Hey guys, I'm doing a video. I'm outside right now, so if it's a little windy, I do apologize. I'm gonna try a new video format, right? This is gonna help people that don't see my channel too often. So it's gonna basically be an overall benefit for everyone. Y'all get one big shot of content. I'm just gonna see if the watch time is up at all or anything like that. So here we go. So what if Deku wasn't in class A? That's gonna be the name of this what if. Hey dog, that's kind of close, my nigga. Might be your crib. Okay, sorry, the car was rolling up pretty close to you, boy. I didn't like it. So what if Deku wasn't in class 1A, right? So we're gonna have this completely different. Now, I was thinking about naming it what if Deku wasn't the main character, but I might change the name. I just gotta think about it. But I think what if he wasn't in class 1A would be more suitable for a title. But anyways, so with this one, Deku will not get one for all. Deku will not be having a quirk and stuff, right? When he finds out he's quirkless, he's like, oh, okay. And then he just accepts it. And then he's like, all right, well, he sees Kachan, and he's like, damn, Kachan's gonna be pretty dope, man. Kachan's really about to bully this nigga, right? Like, stupid Deku, you don't got no quirk, right? And then Deku was like, it's okay, Kachan, I'll just be a support hero. This nigga was baffled. He was like, huh? He was like, look, if I do a design like this, right? Because I know how your quirk works, right? This is when they're little too. And he's like, if I do a design like this, right? If I do this, this and that, okay? And then I do this, I can make your explosions bigger. Bakugo, explosions bigger? Huh? And immediately when he heard that, he was like, oh boy, hop diggity dog. He was ready. He was like, let's eat good then. Let's eat good. Like he was bugged out on Percocets. And so, yeah, so this is how their friendship starts. Deku was making support items for Bakugo, really. So he's gonna be in the support thing, right? He's not even trying to be a hero, but one of the things Bakugo tells him is, make sure you keep training your physicalities and stuff, right? Because he doesn't want nobody weak making him support items or something to that effect. Basically, we're gonna have a Deku where he knows martial arts and stuff like that. It's really more for therapeutic use and medicinal uses, like to keep staying in fit. He's able to beat a lot of low time people even without, having a quirk. I'm not gonna say he's like on level of Stain or anything like that, but his physicality is far superior than Deku after he did the 10 months training. Let's just put it like that, okay? Now we're gonna have it to where your boy Deku is just training big body, but not too big body. He's really just helping Kachan, tinkering with little things. So he makes the gauntlets, but instead of having them big and bulky, he actually makes them more compressed, and he makes basically this whole little suit, right? And let's get into the design of the suit. So he makes the suit to the point to where it's like a really thin design, but it's able to grab more sweat. And also he has braces on the on the outfit, right? This brace allows Bakugo to be able to unleash more powerful and more devastating explosions with as minimum drawback as possible, okay? And also, Deku suggested something to Bakugo. He was like, Bakugo, you can only do it from your hands, right? He's like, yeah. And he's like, so your whole body produces nitroglycerin, but you're only able to produce it from your hands, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, have you ever tried to produce it anywhere else? Bakugo, I mean, no, not really. Huh. All right, I got an idea. So if that's the case, right, and he can only ignite it from his, that part, Deku decided to make him a suit where it can circulate all the sweat into his palms. Also with the circulation, it's gonna reduce it, and he's also gonna have, basically, he just has a lot of support. So he's able to dish out a lot more explosions, and explosions that are 100% more deadly than they would be originally. But this is all theoretical, because Bakugo makes it through to the entrance exams, and he also does it, he's not as malicious as he is in canon, due to the fact that he understands that not everyone's meant to be a hero. And so they both like All Might and stuff, but in this variation, Deku's just more focused on helping Kanchan be the very best hero he can be, okay? So with this, that beginning part settled, your boy, when it's time for the entrance exam and stuff, right? Deku is doing, let's just say he's doing a different, type of thing, okay? For the simple fact that he's not gonna be in the hero class. He's trying to be in this support class. He does a different test. Bakugo passes with flying colors. When Bakugo gets done with that or whatever, he asks Deku, he's like, hey, yo, Deku. Or, Deku, this is what he would call him. He's like, hey, yo, Deku, do you got the blueprints for your hero outfit for me? Deku, being the typical cinnamon roll he is, he's like, I mean, yeah, Kanchan, I didn't think you would want to use my design, blah, blah, blah. And the Kanchan would just be like, my nigga, your designs are good. Calm the fuck down. Basically on some shit like that. So Bakugo is actually a lot stronger because Deku made him train, in the sense of he wanted to see what the limitations to his quirk was, how much explosions he's able to produce, what he can and can't do with the quirk. So basically, Deku's constantly thinking about nitroglycerin, the chemical compound of it, how the quirk works, how it activates. He's thinking about all sorts of stuff like this. So Bakugo's actually a lot stronger. So he's a lot stronger in canon. He's less hot-headed, and he has more of a calm, cooling persona. Now, when he fights, yeah, he's still, die and that type of stuff, but it's more tame. Like, not everyone's just gonna look at this dude and be like, you're crazy. All right, so when he gets done actually, getting the blueprints and stuff like that, Bakugo's just gonna go to class, thugging it out, feet on the couch. And he's not gonna have his feet on the desk, and Ida won't really be bugging him or anything like that. Now, the thing with Uraraka, we're gonna say that originally he wasn't gonna help, all right? But since he saw she is in danger and he's been hanging out with Izuku a lot, he actually sprints over there and just starts, propelling himself forward with explosions. He claps his hands together and just starts spinning wildly while using explosions to propel him forward. And then he just shoots out like a massive wave. It's almost looking like an explosive Kamehameha in the sense of how it's delivered and how it would be presented. And with that being said, he basically puts a hole in the robot. And then after that happens, which took a lot of strength from him, he shoots down and shoots at an angle and picks up Uraraka, gets her out of the way before the robot goes. And he's like, fuck, I think Izuku's wearing off on me or something to that effect, right? Because originally he wouldn't have done that. But he's thinking about, because it's kind of like he's being the hero for the both of them, right? He's like, God damn it, that damn nerd got to me. Something to that effect. Because if you hang out with enough people long enough, you're gonna mimic some of the stuff they do. So that is one of the things he copied from that nigga. He was like, shit, damn, me being a hero and shit. And then he saw her facial expression. It's like, thank you. I really thought it was all over for me, blah, 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 and shit like that. And right there, that's gonna change Kanchan, because of the simple fact is he's like, damn, being a hero like this actually doesn't feel too bad. Not the fact that she's inherently a female. Y'all can ship them in your heads or whatever. I don't care. I'm going for more of the actual story aspect. So that's gonna be what happens. Bakugo obviously passed. Deku obviously passes. They basically part ways because there's no point in no point at all for them to talk for most part. maybe after school or something. So Bakugo, since his ego is a lot calmer, when he sees Todoroki and people like that, he's not as upset because Deku and him, they were looking up different quirks, people on how they could use them, because Deku was using this as training. I hope this dog don't think I'm a bitch. Deku was using this as like training and stuff, because he needs to be able to see a quirk and immediately evaluate it, see what the benefits of the quirk, see what the quirk can and can't do. Basically, he got to know the person instantly. He's got to know how the quirk can affect him. Even when Bakugo goes on his rants, he doesn't really take it to heart anymore, or really at all, due to the fact that his quirk most likely has an amplification to his overall anger. Due to the fact that it's an explosion quirk, he barely can hear because he's always shooting out explosions. He's sweating all the time, and it's not regular sweat, it's nitroglycerin. So it's gonna have different properties, okay? And so forth and so forth. You feel what I'm saying, peeps? So Deku did that. Bakugo was right there looking at quirks and seeing how he was gonna defeat them. And Bakugo is a fairly smart individual. So he's like, okay. So when he sees Todoroki, he's like, hey, yo, nigga, use your full power. What the fuck this nigga on? So he's not having the, I lost, and, crying and shit because his pride and ego was shattered. Instead, he's like, oh, okay, good, a challenge. Let's get it. Now after the beginning match, I don't even know how it would happen. We could probably just replace, I don't even know how they would do the test. This is normally where I probably would stop the video. I don't even know how many minutes I'm in, but this is normally where I would stop the video and just say, we'll catch y'all next time on the next part. And it's 10 minutes too. But since I'm going to be doing this a little longer, I'm not gonna do this, all right? Let me see here. Let me think real quick, peeps. Freestyling. We're just gonna have it to where it's Bakugo, Todoroki, Ida, and Uraraka. And we can either say that the teams didn't get messed up right, or not everybody was gonna be able to support. Like, cause Invisible Girl, I don't even know if she's trying to be a hero. I would dead ass be an assassin. Like who would believe you got murdered by thin air, and then she could literally just sit in the room and wait for these niggas to leave. When everyone leaves, she walks out the room, just. But anyway, so let's just say the Invisible Girl or Mineta or some minor people, what do you say, no names, come through or whatever, and they don't fight. So Bakugo, when Todoroki tries to freeze the building or whatever, we could just say that before the match, he's like, don't try any funny stuff. I want to fight you head to head. Todoroki taking the bluff. And don't think you'll be able to beat me with just half your power. Half and half. And so basically the fight presumes. Uraraka goes to Ida, and Bakugo and Todoroki, they start duking it out, right? This is actually very unique because Bakugo has this design that Deku made for him. So when he's able to collect sweat, because it's like we can say there's like a heating system of some sort. Once his body reaches a certain temperature, it stops heating. All right, it's like a very simple, you can say it's like a simple machine. A simple machine is like I'm trying to think of a simple machine. If you don't know what a simple machine is, you can possibly look it up. It's hard to describe it without me having an example off the top of my noggin. But basically put, there's a simple design to it to where it helps heat him up faster. So even if he's in a cold environment, he doesn't have to have that drawback, okay? And then basically they're gonna go, fighting as per usual. And Bakugo's able to produce bigger explosions faster and with less drawback. So he's really strong. And on top of this, Bakugo's been going through a lot of simulated training with the Deku. He's like, okay, Kachan, I want you to try to produce your explosions at 3-degree angle and then use that momentum to turn around and kick. So basically, it's Bakugo with a blend of martial arts and different stuff because they both went to training and stuff. And he knows how to use his explosions to help him in combat, just rather than, exploding, grabbing them, and that type of stuff, right? So he knows he can use his explosions, grab a person, burn them, punch them, or he can use his explosions, kick, like basically propel himself forward, knee someone in the face, propel them back behind the person, kick them, So basically, he's maximizing his whole body and his whole bodily function. You know what I'm saying? So this way he's actually maximizing a whole bunch. So when him and Todoroki are throwing hands, Todoroki's actually on the receiving end. Even though ice shards are going everywhere, he's able, Bakugo's trying to do is lead him away from the bomb as they're fighting. Ice is getting put everywhere, but Bakugo just like flashes or grenade flashes, flash grenade, all that shit away, just boom. And then just start throwing many tiny explosions. He already has the AP shot, because it would just be a simple application. So basically he's got to the point where he's able to like use his hands a lot more effectively with the explosions. He's able to condensely focus the explosions to make it a 1 finger AP shot, 3 fingers, and so forth. The less fingers that he does this specialized AP shot, the more concentrated and powerful it's gonna be. But the more fingers he has, the bigger the explosion and more damage is gonna do, if that makes any sense. So if he has, if basically it's like, if he does like a full palm or like just closes his fingers with his fingers pointing outward, that's gonna be a very massive, concentrated, big explosion that does more destruction than damage. So that's good if you're fighting multiple people. But if you're fighting a single person and you can aim, using less fingers would, you know, be a lot more easier. But when he does the 1 finger, it has the recoil of taking a lot of energy and also being, it does, you know, fuck up his individual hands somewhat. It's like a very, very issue, a very big body problem, okay? So, with that being said, he's going around and basically just shooting at Todoroki, spirit gun, spirit gun, spirit gun, spirit gun, spirit gun, just boom, 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 boom. And this battle is epic because this was almost like the Naruto versus Sasuke, Goku, Vegeta type shit. The 2 strongest niggas up in this bitch, throwing some quality hands. Throwing some quality hands and shit, right? Just boom, 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 boom. Ice flying everywhere. And for a brief moment, Bakugo almost got through to him, like saying, like he almost got to it. But time was getting low. People were fighting. A lot of stuff was happening. Drama everywhere. So not much words were really getting spewed. It was more fighting. So as the ice is getting flung and slung everywhere, and that's happening, everyone's like, oh my God, this fight's amazing. All Might's like, damn, these niggas impressive. They throwing some hands. Might need to make one of these niggas my successor, under the presumption he hasn't done it already. So he's like, bow, 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 throwing out wild explosions, angled explosions. He throwing out all sorts of stuff. Todoroki is getting cold. He getting chilly. Whew. Is it just me here, or is it getting kind of cold? I need a jacket. Anybody got a jacket, my nigga? And your boy Todoroki not having the best time of his life, because Bakugo was good to go. He's got his blood pumping. His gauntlets are ready for the big explosion, which he can do now. But it's a lot more concentrated, and it has less recoil due to the way, the sleekness of the design. It's almost like the design flows all of the explosion or nitroglycerin into one area. So he's able to, instead of just having 2, he's able to have 4. Which the first one, we can say the first one, I'm gonna do it opposite. We're gonna say the first one isn't as strong as the second one, because the second one had a little more time to be in there, and it's just gonna be, you know, more compact and more, you know, stored up, if that makes any sense, okay? So he's like, all right. He cracks his knuckles. Listen here, Icy Hot. Pop, you know, doing mini explosions, you know, for the intimidation factor and shit. He's like, listen up. If you don't try, if you don't call out, I will beat you. And he's like, I refuse to use my father's power. And he's like, all right, bet. He like gets ready because he's about to use all of the 4 explosions at once. He's like, flashback time. Deku, now Kachan, I know you can be a little hot-headed at times. So I want you under no circumstance to use all explosions unless it's an absolute emergency. Bakugo, whatever, nerd. Yeah, he's like, oh God, I hope the nerd doesn't kill me for this, on some type of shit. And basically, Bakugo did it. He was like, oh, hell no, we not gonna have none of this. He's like, all right, bet, you asked for it. Bakugo running at this nigga, right? Todoroki tries to use his eyes, but his movements are too slow now. So Bakugo just starts wailing on this nigga. Quality hands. Bakugo screaming the whole time, use your full power. Who gives a fuck about your bastard of a father? Good hands, good hands. Todoroki can't do shit because he's too slow now. He's like, you're never gonna win like this. Why would you insult us? Basically, he's not saying us. I'm gonna say he's saying more of him right now because it's more of an upsetting situation than anything, okay? Okay, it's more of an upsetting situation than anything, right? He's on, he's like, yo, why are you gonna assault me like this? So what, when your life is in danger, you're only gonna use half your power? It's your power, kid. But if you don't understand that, I'm gonna show you what the combination of two people's power can do. Basically, anytime he's fighting, he feels like he's fighting with Deku. So he's like, let me show you something. I would never admit this to his face. And he puts cups his hands together and like closes them almost to make like a tiny hole. I would never admit this to his face, but I got a lot of respect for Deku. And if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't be as strong as I am now. So let me show you what happens when you combine your efforts. I don't like this name, but Texas explosion. And then boom, one massive explosion goes. But since it's concentrated, it only does minimum damage to the surrounding area. Todoroki was able to block the explosions, you know what I'm saying, with the ice. But he's on his last legs, bro. He is frostbitten everywhere, right? And then Todoroki is like, you're right. He's like, Bakugo, huh? He's like, you're right. This whole time, and let's say he just has a flashback similar to he did in canon when Deku was trying to get him to do his shit. And so, what would happen from this point on is Todoroki would go on some Kaioken, not really, and burn on. And then Bakugo's like, finally, he starts running, and then all you hear is, the hero team has won. Everyone, huh? Bakugo and Todoroki look at Goofy because they were about to really get serious with the fighting and shit. And what happened was, meanwhile, from Uraraka's POV, she's sitting up here trying to get this bomb, and Ida's, being retarded. Ho ho ho, villainous, evilness. You know how Ida was in canon. And so he basically just kept speeding around with the bomb. Just, yeah, boy, I'm smart as fuck, son. And speeding around. Whee! Whee! Everybody was like, huh? Just looking at this dude, mad goofy, like, huh? But Uraraka, little difference with Uraraka, right? Because, like, she actually knows fighting. She had the similar way she grew up, but the difference was she met Deku when she was early on, like about 6, give or take. He was out, looking up some build designs. He was talking about like some really complex stuff, and Uraraka was like, I don't really get what you're saying, but it sounds pretty complicated and kind of cool. And so Deku was like, yes, it really is. See, I'm gonna help Kachan become the best hero he can be, or help him become the #1 or whatever. And with this being said, she's like, really? How are you gonna do that? Well, see, what I do is, and he started rambling for a little bit, but long story short, he's like, I'm gonna help his quirk become, strong, because I'm gonna become the best quirk analyzer or analyst or something like that. And she's like, for real? I got a really kind of quirk, but I don't only see it as a support quirk. It's like I'm able to touch things, and she touches like a toy or something. I'm only able to touch things and make them flow kind of. She's like, Deku lights up. What do you mean? Only a support quirk? That's a one-shot KO quirk. What do you mean? And she's like, huh? What? And Deku's like, listen, if you touch somebody in battle, that's pretty much means you won the fight. Or if you have support items with you, if you touch those items, you're able to have them above you and have support or raining down fire if you get control over it. So Deku, this is gonna be long, but since we're doing a long what if, let's work. So Deku's like, think about it. If you had 3 items up in the air and you made one stop floating, but you kept the other ones, or somehow you were able to keep them around you at the same time, that means you'd constantly be able to have support items with you. So don't you see? Your quirk's really amazing, especially if you learn how to fight. So what if you're fighting a villain, right? And you're throwing hands, he's not gonna say throwing hands, but if y'all were fighting in combat or something, but if y'all were throwing hands and stuff, wouldn't that be really amazing if you got the upper hand and then you floated them and then you had some type of rope or some type of material and then you was able to release and simultaneously smack them down? She's like, yeah, that's good and all, but me trying to move multiple things at once really makes me vomit. Simple. He said, Deku, simple. With anything, like a muscle, or basically he's just talking about like with anything, with anything at all, bro. It's a muscle, you know what I'm saying? So if you train something long enough, that means eventually you'll have a tolerance to it, right? So why don't you just he doesn't say it like this, but what if you just stop complaining about it and just keep training your quirk? Eventually you might get used to get used to your limit. You got to surpass your limit somehow, and try to see if you can move items or have items move around your orbit. Because if you're able to manipulate and control gravity, that means you're able to do stuff like that, wouldn't you say? And Uraraka was like, you're right. And we're gonna say like that's gonna be the big body influence and shit, right? And now, flash forward now, Uraraka, big body with the sauce. I'm not saying she really can do this, but since her quirk hasn't awakened, or I don't think it has in the manga as of the time of me making this video, I'm just gonna say that would be in reasonable context, right? If she's able to manipulate and control gravity, why wouldn't she not be able to manipulate the items that she, affected on their gravity? You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have it to where she does have some support items, and also Deku does meet up with her when they got a little bit older and said, here, or like we could say he mailed it to her or sent it to her house. He was able to figure out where she lives. It's not on that creepy flow. He was just like, I think I remember you told me about your parents' company. So basically he sends a mail, and Uraraka like 8, 10. Deku's like, I sent you a blueprint or something to that effect of the costume design that I think would really help manage your quirk. So basically, she has a low tech, but not low tech, but high tech at the same time. So instead of this weird bubble, like weird costume she had, right? She's gonna have it with a sleeker design, more fitted around to her body, okay? And since her design is, sleek and stuff, she also got special beam things around her head, almost looking like it's part of her helmet, but it allows her to keep her center of gravity a lot more easier. Also, she has like these heavy metal balls that she can keep with her, and we're gonna say she just has like a unique support belt or something where she can deliver first aid and some medical aid and shit like that. Okay, so with that being said, she's able to use these items as needed. Also, she has rope and string, and then if she like puts her arms together, like backside of her hands together, she's able to pull out like a little chain, but it's it only has so much range. So she has a very unique design. Okay, so with this being said, she and Ida is actually throwing hands. She's like shooting out these balls, and then like she grabs them, and she learned how to do release but only with one hand. So she's like boom, shoots it out, and then like as it's like flying at dumb speed, she lets release and it flies even faster. You get what I'm saying? So Ida's dodging that and moving the bomb, and she's like, damn, I can't really get him. And so she's like, huh. So basically they're just throwing hands, and Ida's just basically dodging out. All I gotta do is wait for the time to run out. All I gotta do is wait for the time to run out. All I gotta do is wait for the time to run out. And you just keep speeding around her, and she's getting really frustrated. So what she started doing is, it looks like she's actually being an idiot, right? And so what she started doing is she just started using the balls, right? Just shooting the balls everywhere. Ida is basically on some like Dragon Ball Z Ultra Instinct, not Ultra Instinct, but like just weaving it, right? And it's just weave. And he said, that's very unhero-like of you to be basically getting frustrated or letting a villain get to your head. And she's like, shut up, and just shooting everywhere. And meanwhile, while this was happening, the fight with Todoroki and Bakugo would be commencing during this, because this is a flashback. And so you hear explosions after explosions. Boom, stop, be a bitch and use your full power. Never. And that's basically like the little banter and shit they got going on back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So you were able to hear this while this flashback's happening. So you have a point of reference to when the fight's happening. And then Bakugo does his last explosion. Everyone feels it. It actually gets Ida distracted for a brief moment. Uraraka almost touches the bomb, but Ida gets away in time. And she's like, all right, fine. And she's like, and she's actually tired, bro. She got a mean workout. Like, damn, I haven't worked out this much in that one episode. And she's like, all right, try to dodge this then. Release. Raining shoots out, or raining shower or something like that, right? Ida's like, huh? If the bomb blows up, basically she was acting very villain-like, right? And she was like, huh, I don't care if the bomb blows up. I'll take you with me. Ida's like, huh? He's like, hey, yo, chill. It was just an experiment. It was just a joke. It was just a prank. She's like, huh, joke's on you. I don't like pranks. And so, when that happens, right? When that happens and shit, fool, Ida's actually scared and he doesn't know what to do. So he's just sitting still, right? Uraraka punches him because he's like, he doesn't know where to go because, debris. When she was hitting all those rocks down on the ground, it was causing a good chunk of debris and rubble and all that stuff to come through. On top of Ida's speed and stuff like that. So it made it 100 times worse. So she's basically raining down hell. Ida doesn't know what to do. She punches him, grabs him with one hand, makes him float, and then immediately with her other hand, after she's done punching him, she's like, I'm gonna say she says unrelease or reverse or release again, I don't know. But she's able to immediately stop all the objects. Like literally, there was like a pebble or a sharp pebble, like 2 centimeters from like hitting the bomb. And then she touches it. And then like, she like gets like a pole or something and just like moves all the stuff out of the way from the bomb and then just release. And then Ida stuck on the ceiling. She walks up limping, tired, looks up at Ida. Fuck you. And she's like, wait, hey, yo, you gonna let me down, right? No. Sure thing. Release. And like she's walking away on the verge of about to vomit. Meanwhile, Bakugo and Todoroki, damn, forgot about Round Face, but Bakugo smiles a little bit. He's like, damn, Round Face did her thing, huh? Okay. I'll see you, baby girl. And now we're gonna have it to where we basically we skipped over the quirk assessment, but that's really not important. Nothing happens. Nothing happens of value. I mean, let's be 100. But we can talk about how what's gonna happen next. So everybody does that. Everyone does what they need to do. Him and not him and Bakugo. Uraraka and Bakugo, they meet up. They dab up. Uraraka actually falls on Bakugo like, oh, he's like, damn, what the fuck's your problem, Round Face? He's like, oh shit, I see. You overdid it, didn't you? She's like, yeah, just a little bit. He's like, all right, I'm only gonna let you. Basically, let's see. He's like, what's something Bakugo would say, like, I'll let you lean on me this one time, or I'll let you lean on me for now, but don't get used to it. I'm not always gonna be here, Round Face. And she's like, whatever, Bakugo. All right. And then so they just start hauling ass to, wherever they need to be. Everybody talking how amazing the match was and, that stuff. And this is where I would end part 2 of, I think. Yeah, it would be right about here or a little bit before. Let me see where I'm at now. I'm at 30 minutes in. Back. Okay, they're back now. Okay. So with that being said and stuff, right? We're gonna get on to, I guess, what you could call part 3, technically. And we're gonna have it to where your boy, this is the USJ time. So this is where things really get spicy. So Uraraka and, not Uraraka, nobody Uraraka. They all pull up per usual. They're talking about stuff and talking about cool quirks and all sorts of stuff like that. And everyone's like, all right, cool. You know, no one's studying them. It's just all right. They're just chilling, talking. They get there. Everyone's got their hero costumes. Everyone looks at Kirishima and is like, what's up with the weird fit? And he's like, well, it was really a long time. I don't know how Kirishima voice sounds. He's like, well, it was a really long time ago, but I met this really manly dude, and we were around the same age as, we were around the same age and all, but he was really manly. Like, he had a dream and a goal, and he was pursuing it, and he just starts crying and going on about manly this, manly that, and everybody's like, Bakugo's like, get to the point, spiky hair. And basically what happened was like, this dude gave me so many insights on my quirks and tips and stuff like that. And Uraraka was like, wait, for real? That happened to me too. And then they're like, Bakugo's like, huh? He's like, hey, wait a minute now, hold up. I think I know who they're talking about. But as they're discussing and talking, it gets cut very briefly and humongously interrupted. You wanna know why? Shigaraki comes out with chapped lips, hands on face. Hi, I'm here to do villainous things. And everyone's like, huh. Kodagiri pulls up per usual. We're just gonna say they get scattered. We're gonna say that, we can say that Todoroki got scattered with the peeps. No. We're gonna say Bakugo. I don't remember what happened to Uraraka, but I'm gonna say that Uraraka was, we could say she got teleported with Bakugo. So they have to fight back to back. Kirishima got teleported back with Sue and them, okay? So that's what's gonna happen. So while they're on the boat, Kirishima's like, I got an idea, but actually I got a better idea. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna throw Mineta, what do you mean you're gonna throw me? I don't know how he does the list. I haven't heard his voice in a minute. And so Sue's like, okay, and then you're gonna catch him, Sue, and then I want you to grab my hand, and I am going to throw you. So basically, she's gonna catch him. I guess she can grab him. She's gonna grab him, and then they're gonna use all this momentum to like fling forward. And she's like, Sue, how durable is your tongue? She's like, well, Ribbit, I really don't know, but what do you have in mind, Kirishima? And Kirishima's like, all right, listen, my quirk is hardened. I can harden my body, but I don't want to harden it too hard where I hurt a lady. So I need to harden it to make sure I get more momentum. So stuff like that. She's like, okay. It's like, basically, you might get a couple of cuts on your tongue. Is that okay? She's like, well, since we're in a life or death situation, I don't think a little cut on my tongue is gonna really matter. And so with that being said, Kirishima was like, perfect. And so then they begin the plan. Throws Mineta. Sue jumps after that nigga, grabs him with the tongue, and then slips up, god damn it, grabs Mineta, and then she turns back around with her tongue. Kirishima plants himself into the ground, and then for a brief moment, you can see red sparks coming out of his body. He jumps, spins, and like he basically uses what's her face, like a little you can say rope, or a rope with a metal ball on, and then throws her, and then with all that momentum, they fly over the water, and they land back at base. You know what I'm saying? Or back on the surface. Meanwhile, what was happening with Uraraka and Bakugo? They were throwing hands, bro. Uraraka went on like a killing spree, bro. She was like, just start popping these niggas, boo, 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 boo. Bakugo just like, yeah, finally, I get to just sit back and die. Explosions, die. Big body, just everything getting obliterated. You just die. Stuff was not good on this episode. You hear what I'm saying, bro? It was bad. It was like bad, you know? The villains got fucked up, long story short, and Uraraka touched everyone there, kept them floating. So you got it. She got used to making things float. And plus, if they're not constantly going up, or I don't know what the little plot I could say for this, but basically she's able to keep these people floating for a really long time. And she's like, y'all all gonna stay there. Good luck. And then they walk off, and then they gotta go help the other people. So she hops on Bakugo's back briefly, and he makes both of them light. She makes both of them light. And he's like, all right, let's go. And he's like, who said you can get on my back? Do you want everyone to die? There is a villain attack. She's like, Bakugo, all right, if you die, don't blame me. And poof, and then blast off. So Todoroki, actually using his flame sight in combination with his ice sight, not as refined as it could be, but he did start doing some minor training with his father. And so they just basically pew him all the way over there. So the whole gang's back, all right? Now, with this being said, your boy, Endeavor, he's boxing. And then Kirishima was like, oh, heck no. And the Nomu pulls up, and the Nomu was like, yeah, I'm supposed to be as strong as All Might. This is what Shigaraki's saying. And Kirishima was like, word to my peeps. And then you just see like, it was almost like it was spontaneous. All Todoroki, Kirishima, and Bakugo all pulled up on this Nomu. Todoroki froze the Nomu in place, basically encasing this dude in ice. Kirishima just starts welling on the upper half of this Nomu. Just boo, 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 boo. Todoroki puts some flames in the air. Bakugo jumps in those flames, starts spinning around, and just does a super Hauser impact right on this Nomu's noggin. Just poof, blasting this Nomu to smithereens. Nomu regenerates. He's like, he breaks out of the ice, starts regenerating, starts throwing more hands. Everyone throwing quality hands. And Sawa doesn't get damaged in this timeline, because I always hated that part about the episode. Like, damn, he didn't need to get rolled up this early. And so now basically everybody throwing good hands, right? Shigaraki was like, oh, y'all niggas think y'all slick, huh? Y'all niggas think y'all real slick, don't y'all? He on his extra Grammy flow. So while these niggas distracted, they putting beats on this Nomu, like high key. But don't get me wrong, everybody trying they full power almost, like big body. Kirishima glowing red for some reason. We don't know what that's about. Bakugo is going stupid, go crazy with the explosions, and Todoroki's like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot both, hot, cold, hot, cold. You know, he's trying to switch it up. And so, with this being said, Shigaraki like, let me see, which one should I kill first? He looks at Kirishima, sees he's got the hardened quirk. No, that'd be too troublesome. Looks at Todoroki with the flames coming out of both on one side and ice on the other. No. You seem perfect. He about to pull up on this nigga. Before he pulls up, he get hit in the face with a kick. Good night. Leave Hurricane. Surprise the dynamic entry. Like big body with it, right? Uraraka floating above this nigga with some rope. Oh, I've been waiting to do this move all day ever since I learned about it. Zero gravity. Slam. Bam. Shigaraki looking goofy. Head hit the ground. Got a concussion. Good night. NyQuil. Just then before you could do anything else, right? Uraraka said, "Oh no, you don't." Grab. He was already grabbed by the whole rope. And then she like roped more rope around him, brought him close, stopped his hands from touching her, grabbed him by the noggin, touched all fingers on there, grabbed him by the noggin. And just basically pull drives this dude into the ground. And like, she got this dude up pretty high. Like she got like a little stick or something, like keep the rope, you know, from like taking this nigga up too high. But he's high up in the air crying while he came down. And she looks at him too. Before you even think about disintegrating that, if you disintegrate that, she points to the hole right above them. You're going to fly straight up into that. And it's like, let's say it's a decent size hole. You're going to fly right up into that, okay? And if you do that, I can't promise your safety. She's like, aren't you supposed to be training for being a hero? Well, yes, but I've learned something over the years. Being nice to those that don't deserve it is a waste of time. And then very briefly, everyone felt that chill. They was like, oh, she good. Meanwhile, back with the Nomu. Bakugo, all right, I don't think this is working. Kirishima, how hard can you go? Come on, guys, don't make a joke. And Kirishima was like, well, I don't know. I mean, I can make my whole body pretty much unbreakable for like, yeah, pun intended. For like, about 20 seconds. He's like, perfect. Kirishima, I want you to go out and give it everything you got. He's like, sure. He like spikes up. And this reason the Bakugos are doing this and not Todoroki is because Bakugo has a lot more leadership and he's a lot more calm and he's a lot more respectable as a person. So now let's get into what he says to Todoroki. He's like, Todoroki, how much ice can you use? Are you still good? He's like, yeah, basically when I use, my quirks in conjunction, I'm able to, use them longer. Because if I use one side, I get too hot. If I use one side, the other side, I get too cold, as you remember from my fight. He's like, perfect. All right, do me a favor. I want you to make basically a ring or like a boxing ring in this area. And I want you to make sure you make it as big and cold and as thick and as icy as possible, okay? And then I want you to do, meanwhile, where Kirishima is at, he's throwing good hands with the Nomu. The Nomu is actually breaking his hands on the dude. But the Nomu's hitting harder and harder and harder. And he's like, damn, these hits kind of getting heavy. I'm kind of scared. Not really, but he like, ooh. Kirishima basically just like, all right, bet. 10% Red Riot. And when he does that, he starts throwing quality hands back. And the second he like starts doing that, he like goes for like one really big punch. Noma blocks it, hits him with like a mean boxer uppercut. And Kirishima's like, oh God, I think I reached my 20-second limit. And then Bakugo's like, that's enough, spiky air. I got this from here. Bakugo's going up high, and just for comedic comment, he turns around and looks at Shigaraki and just says, fuck you, just like very casually, but like we all know what he was saying. And he keeps flying up higher and higher and higher. And then he's like, oh, this is gonna hurt probably. And he starts like spinning. What he does, right, is he uses, how we talked about how he has 4 big explosions saved up after he, uses his, little heat sensor, right? So what happens is he uses one explosion to allow him to gain a whole bunch of momentum and grabbing a whole bunch of air, right? While also carrying all these explosions with him. Like it's just one really big ball of death. And now, with all that ice around them and all this stuff, Todoroki starts freezing the Nomu, basically like freezing him as much as he can. Even though the Nomu's shown he can get out, he's freezing, basically holding the Nomu still as much as possible. And the design of how this set up, right, is it's set up in such a way that any pressure that comes in, it's gonna lead straight to the Nomu, right? So anything that leaves or excess or anything. And it's like a little tube, and all of the room at the bottom is for the Nomu. Kirishima is he's too tired. He actually can't get out, right? But Sue comes through with the swiftness, right? She wraps around and just pulls him out. And he's like, thank you. He's like, thanks, Sue. He's like, finally, he's out of the way. And then he's like, Todoroki, now! And then Todoroki roars with fires on it, his right side, I think it is. And like he basically outproduces, because he went from icy cold. He went from basically chilly cold, freezing cold, to burning hell hot. And he just grabs all the flames he can muster, equivalent to how he beat that dude with the tape and a cannon. And he just shoots all of these flames. He shoots all the flames straight up at Bakugo. And Bakugo's spitting. And so then he starts spitting with all this with speed, explosions, all of that hitting the flames, made like a sonic boom type like explosion. He said, and Bakugo's going at like top notch crazy speeds, and he had to time this. So he was like, "Don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up," and then boom. Like a giant explosion. Everybody was surprised. Like, damn, Bakugo was able to do that? And Bakugo's like slowly falling to the ground. He's like, damn, this is tough. He's like, damn, I'm pretty high up. Oh, I'm basically on some deku and cannon. He's like, yeah, I made it up here. I'll get down. So that's basically the situation we're in. And so Bakugo's like, damn, I'm falling kind of fast, dog. And he's like, he used all his explosion. He's feeling the aches. He's feeling the pains. He's like, damn. It's pretty high fall. Like he's almost at the very tippy top of the like building, if not even higher, just from the recoil. He's like, damn, I'm burnt out. I'm pretty much out of nitroglycerin. He's looking at like the little thing that like tells him how much nitroglycerin he has. And he's like, damn. You just sitting there like contemplate like, damn, so I'm about to fall. I'm about to accept I'm about to fall. This is about to hurt. He's like, damn, what that nerd say about if you ever falling from a high place contract, make sure you're gonna have to use your legs to break the fall. You will break your legs, but it's okay. You'd rather break your legs than not have a life. Like Deku low key be on some like emo, not emo type stuff, and people just be like, damn, is this nigga good or no? Like to this day, people be like, damn, he probably upset he don't got a quirk. Like high key, no low key. Like, but anyways. So as he's falling, he's like, damn. He's screaming, hey, yo, half it hard. No. He's like, half and hard. You got any more? He looks at Todoroki. Todoroki slumped. Yo, Kirishima slumped, knocked out. Not even knocked out, just like can't move. He just looks at Bakugo like, I can't move, dog. He's like, Sue. Sue's tongue is all bloodied and she's out of it. No one else has any type of support quirk to help them. And he's like, see, I knew Deku was wrong. Like he just started bitching about Deku and shit. Like, damn, this nigga really left me astray and shit. Bitch ass nigga, damn, shit, man, fuck. And he just mad because he's like, damn, I didn't have to do all this and me being a leader. And he really just sitting there complaining for a good little minute. And then he hears a voice calling down, Bakugo. Him looking, what? He sees like a ball coming at him. He's like, hey, yo. She's like, catch it. Him catches it. He's like, he misses the first like initial catch, but he immediately like catches. He's like, now what? And she's like, she looks at him. Release. He's like, hey, yo. So basically he's falling down dummy fast, right? And then she's looking, hold or unrelease. And she's like, and then basically he stops like by the ground or like close enough to the ground and then plops down. Or we could just say he like gently touches down on the ground. And he's like, and like he's like wobbling and stuff, but she pulls up on him. Don't worry, I'll let you lean on me just this once. Oh, no. Don't get used to always leaning on me or whatever, because I'm not always going to be here. And Bakugo, all right, round face. Then after all this happened, you just hear, when she actually released way too hard. Shigaraki pulls up. Don't think you've won, hero, so-called or wannabe heroes. Everyone turns around like, damn. They kind of were about to celebrate their victory. They was all like, yeah, we did this. Shigaraki pulls up. I might not have the Nomu anymore, but I will make sure I take care of one of you at least before All Might gets here. I'm like, damn. That's kind of crazy. So basically, Shigaraki start pulling up on these people, right? And then we have a surprise entrance. Someone you never expect to see, ever, at a time like this. Dragon Ball Z Goku come through. No, I'm playing. But for real though, Deku comes through because he heard, we could just say Ida was running and he was like, hey, what you running from? He's like, yeah, villains. And it was very brief. He's like, you might want to not be in the hallways at this time. So, with that being said, Deku runs with the speed of God. And remember, this version of Deku was actually a lot faster. While Ida's trying to notify someone, Deku comes through with the swiftness. He comes through with he has like different little gadgets and stuff. He comes through with like a bow staff, right? And he swings at him, get away from my friends. He swings the little bow staff. Shigaraki weaves precision. He's like, weave. He's like, joke's on you. Surprise hammer. And when he like hits like a little, like he twists his wrist a certain way, a hammer comes out, right? And then he just decks Shigaraki in the noggin, right? Just like hits him on the ground. Shigaraki is like, stumbled, goofy looking. And since it was a prototype, let's just say it broke in one hit, or at least the hammer function broke. He's like, he throws it up, grabs it, and like hands it out like a spear almost, and he like throws it at Shigaraki. Shigaraki gets his hands in just the angle to like disintegrate it right before it hits him. And Deku said, "That was just a prototype, but let me show you something I've really been working on." He pulls out a bat, and only a few people know what type of bat this is. He pulls out this bat, bro. He starts going to work. He's like, he starts swinging. Shigaraki's like, weave. He tries to disintegrate it. Deku says, burn. The whole bat turns on fire. Shigaraki puts his hand back. And Bakugo's actually surprised, but Deku's like, throwing like some quality hands with his bat, right? Then, as the bat's doing what it do, he like swings, he starts spinning like a circle and just says, Hauser point. It'll be something reminiscing to Hauser point. So it just say flashpoint or something to that effect, you know? And then he's like, and like just sends like a massive wave of flyers on Shigaraki. Shigaraki is able to not get burned or like cool himself off like rolling, or like screaming and stuff. But it hurt, okay? And then when Shigaraki gets up, he's like, all right, that's enough. And then before you do anything, Deku throws the bat up in the air. Shigaraki looks up. Deku looks up, then Shigaraki looks up, and then he looks back down, and Deku's on him with some brass knuckles. He's like, I've been wanting to do this combo. I saw this one episode. Start piecing this dude shit up like big body with it, right? With good hands, and these had a little sparky, little electricity. He's weaving all these punches. Weave, uppercut, weave, body blow, and just start piecing this dude up. And he mad. He tries to get up and everything, and like he about to race Deku, or like get him and stuff, right? But before you do, his body paralyzed. Yeah, all that heat, your body's overheating, all that electricity. Yeah, you weak right now. he fall down to the ground, and then like in a spirit of a last desperate attempt, Shigaraki gets about to hit Deku with everything he got, basically, trying to decay him. And then Deku's like, look up, and or like he looks up saying look up, and then Shigaraki's, I'm not gonna fall for the same trick twice, kid. Joke's on you. Boom! The bat that was up in the air knocked this dude out in the noggin, and he's just down on the ground, pain throughout most of his body. He's like, basically, he's mad he's been outdone by brats. Snipes comes through, and basically all these people try to come through with it, but by that point in time, everyone's out. Shigaraki's been taken. All Might does get here, but everybody dips. So all the low-level villains, stuff come through. And we're not going to talk about how those other villains were still floating, but Shigaraki was able to get free somehow. Like, we don't talk about plot holes. Anyways. So now we're going to have it to where villains come. Basically, heroes come through. Everybody's kosher. They're like, yeah. Bakugo is asking Deku, like, what the fuck, dog? What you doing here? It's like, well, I saw one of the Agenium brothers running, and I knew I had to come help you. Uraraka's like, hey, you're that guy from, isn't your name Izuku? And then Kirishima pulls up. Todoroki's just down there, just looking goofy. He barely even walking. He's just like limping very, very unfast, like, okay? And so with that being said, and with that being the case, that's how we're going to conclude this off. And this is going to be like part 4. I will catch y'all later on the next video if I was going to stop, but I'm actually going to keep going. Everyone, yay! Or they're looking at the time. Oh, what you mean about to stop? What am I about to see next? Anyways, so after all that, everyone gets healed up. Everyone's like good. Deku's like, they say, hey, you can be in the hero course, man, if you really want to. And we could say, your boy, he's like, yeah, but I'm going to also have to be in class, not class B or whatever the support class thing is called, all right? So he's like, I'm going to have to do that too, so I don't got no problem being with y'all. Like, I'm chilling, And so what happened, right, is, Um, we could just say Deku's also in both classes. This will help or make it better when we get into the future part, the futureness of this. So we're gonna have it to where Deku's casually doing this, and since he's in these other classes, he also learns about Shoto, and he talks to Azawa, and Azawa talks to the principal, and basically they get Shoto, your boy, to also come in the hero course, okay? And they're all training, and basically while all this is happening, this is gonna be helping to lead to the sports festival, okay? And people know how Shoto Quirks works, but also Shoto's been working on hand-to-hand combat too. Okay, so yeah, now we're just gonna have it to where most of the stuff happens similar like it does in canon, but the only difference is Deku's gonna be fighting different people, which just won't matter until we get a little further into this. So basically, when we're gonna skip some fights because those fights might not happen. We're just bear with me here. Uraraka versus Bakugo, right? How this plays out is similar to did it did in canon, but it's actually gonna be a lot closer. Bakugo actually wins with the very skin of his teeth, and it was whoo. Actually, no, I got something different. All right, so forget that fight. We're gonna have it to where Todoroki and Kirishima, they duke it out. They duke it out, right? No, wait, hold up. Perfect. Uraraka versus Deku. There we go. Had to think about it for a good minute. So we're gonna have it to right where they're throwing hands pretty fairly. Deku's surprised he's actually able to keep up. Even though he was just training, he wasn't ever thinking about actually using it. It was more for self-defense. So they're throwing hands. Deku's got his bat out. He's like, all right, but got to do the play with the bat. So he starts throwing the bat, and the bat starts ricocheting. And as it's ricocheting, the flames that are getting on and getting hotter and hotter. But while this is also happening, Deku is also throwing hands with his, sword. He has a sword that mainly produces wind. And it's like a specialized concentrated blade. So he's using this to keep Uraraka at bay. So he don't pull up on your boy. And he's like, slice. Uraraka is like, I'm here. And he's like, nah, you got it. So anytime she got close, he'll do like a little weird move with the sword, basically to propel her back or just shoot out like a little like concentrated air. So this fight goes on for a little bit of a minute. And then after the fight goes on, you remember that bat, right? So Deku throws his sword down on the ground, right? Uraraka jumps back, and then Deku grabs his, he puts on his brass knuckles, or we could just say it's like a gauntlet, right? And like he like sparks them up, and then like when he punches, it just shoots out like a mini like a little mini big bolt of electricity. Uraraka's able to weave that. Uraraka's able to weave the second one. Deku then jumps up onto the sword, and then he's like, and then when he does like a certain press on the sword, you can see it propel him upwards, right? And with the way that his bat was angled, it's a lot of calculations, okay? This is the justification for it. With all these calculations, he puts his hand back, and he's like, I hope I'm right. And if you look at the hand that had one of the gauntlets on them, or both of them, they actually have fireproof material on them, right? This one was for the electricity because it's rubber-like, but it also is fire resistant too. It's special material, and if it doesn't exist in real life, it exists in this what if. He grabs it, starts spinning with the bat. Uraraka's like, wait, hey, yo, because she almost forgot about the bat. Like, she was dodging it and stuff, but she wasn't thinking about the bat. But this bat now has blue flames on top of all this air pressure and wind that's propelling Deku. It's like he just became a big ball of fire for a very brief moment in time. And, like, he just, bow. You know when you gotta get hit with the same move 3 times, no matter what you do, like it's gonna hurt, right? So, it's like a mini the bat is pretty much KOI. It's just a regular bat now. And then Uraraka gets sent flying to ground. She doesn't get hit out of bounds. She just gets flying like right close to it. Deku's falling down pretty fast, but he prepared for this. And when he like hits the bat at like a certain angle, it's like it's almost like it's like become a brief parachute. Since it was so much wind pressure and all of that, it breaks. So the bat's pretty much out of condition. out of commission. And so Deku lands. It's a rough landing, but he lands. And he's like, whew. He's like, this is the power of the supports or support items or something to that effect, right? And he's like, Uraraka gets up. So now she got this mean look on her face. Everybody's like, oh. And she's like, all right, bet, Deku, I got you. She's like, I bet, I got you. You good. This is good. We good. And so you like start charging at this dude, right? And with all the like rubble around, she just starts like picking them up and just chunking them at him. Just checking. They're just chunking chunks of different stuff at him. And they're coming at high speeds because they're lightweight, and then she releases them and it like boosts the speed. Deku's like weave. Deku's tired. He's like, damn, I didn't expect to make it this far. He weave. He goes in for a solid punch. Boom! Hits her with a punch. She grabs his arm and just like full grabs Deku. No! And it's like a very dramatic moment, right? She grabs him with the other arm and she's like, I got you now. And then everyone's like, uh-oh. And then Uraraka just like falls down on him or something. We could say he's blushing. I don't care. Whatever fan service you want to imagine happens there, go for it. But they didn't fuck, okay? Don't even go there. So Deku's, you could say he's blushing, but whatever. Long story short, the fight ends. Deku won. He's like, oh shit, I'm in this bitch. You're like, hey, yo, I'm doing this. He don't really care if he wins because like Bakugo's gonna be the hero, the number one hero. And so they heal up. Now Uraraka lost, but barely. So she's in 4th. 5th. Now we're gonna have it where Bakugo and Kirishima, they throwing hands. Todoroki, he good. We get there in a second. They throwing good hands. Good hands commence, right? And it's like big body. It's big body with the sauce, right? Good hands. Kirishima's like, Red Riot, 25%. Tried to speed blitz Bakugo. Bakugo said, joke's on you, flash grenade. And he just starts dancing around this nigga with explosions. Just start bow. He's also hitting this dude with these concentrated shots too. Basically, we just say Bakugo overwhelms Kirishima and he gets like blasted out of the stadium. But it wasn't easy though. Like he had to use a lot of maneuvering and outplaying this dude, okay? Now we're gonna get into Todoroki and Deku, which wasn't gonna happen originally. Actually, hold on, let me think real quick. Yeah, so we're gonna hit the Todoroki and Bakugo fight, right? Now I don't know what would be the reasoning for the way they do it, but let's just say something different happens or something, right? So somehow the story gets played up or somehow the story gets messed up. And some issue come to arise because Deku had to go fix his equipment. So they were like, if the people that gotta fight next don't have a problem with fighting, we can go ahead and start, or we can disqualify them. Todoroki and Bakugo look at each other and say, nah, we good. They want to even continue the match. They're like, yeah, let's leave off where we left off. You know what I'm saying? And so they start duking it out and just throwing quality hands from off rip. This time the flames are involved, right? And what ended up happening is we're gonna have a really long, drawn out match, and then your boy Bakugo, he goes all out, tries to do a super explosion. Todoroki tries to combine his flames and ice together to make like one big body life ender attack. And what ended up happening is it was a big explosion. Everybody tried to stop it because it's like if the flames mixed with the nitroglycerin and blah, 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 bad things, big damage. Big explosion happened. Bakugo's use, he remembers what it was like when he got hit with a really big explosion. He remember what it was like to get hit with a really big explosion, since you remember not too long ago when he was fighting the Nomu that was going big dummy, he was just in the air and he didn't like that. It basically made him feel helpless and like a bitch. So with him feeling like that and feeling helpless and stuff, right? he he learned how to, deal with that. So the second the impact of the explosion happens, he shot himself downwards and basically, shot another explosion. So he was able to negate most of the backlash of that big, big, big ass explosion. All right. So with this being said, your boy, ouch. Whew. Your boy Bakugo's able to stay, and Todoroki got knocked out of the ring. Now, Deku finally comes back, and he's like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Kirishima, well, it looks like you're the lucky winner. He's like, "Lucky winner? Ooh, what did I win? You get to fight Bakugo." So Deku just complete dread and shred comes through him, and so he's like, so basically, Bakugo and Deku throw hands. Deku got all his equipment, fixed up, paired up, and everything. And Bakugo was like, all right. He said, I never thought I would be fighting you here. He's like, to be honest, Kachan, I would really prefer not to fight. I can just go ahead and jump out of the ring. Kachan roars. Like, he doesn't get angry as much like he does normally. But in this canon, he roared and got angry. He said, don't you dare take this away from me. You made it up here because for whatever reason, you were good enough to get here. So let's see who's the better one out of us two. And he's like, Kachan, calm down. Listen. And it's not like he's being a bitch. He just really earnestly thinks, Bakugo's better. And he's like, yeah, Kachan, listen, we don't even have to fight. Like it's really not that big of a deal. And he's like, no, we do. And we would have a mini flashback. You were able to take down Uraraka, which we could say they had a brief spar. But the last time me and Uraraka sparred, he was on the back end or the back or the receiving end. Please, guys. And so it was a very, very difficult process. And he didn't even win the match. They just had to stop because they couldn't go all out. Like, he could have lost that match in theory, right? And he's like, and I saw your notes for Todoroki. Let's just say it's after the fight or something. I saw your notes for Todoroki. Come to think about it, you might even be better than most heroes in the hero course due to the simple fact of your analytical mind, and you're able to assess and judge things. Those notes, if I had those notes before going into the match with Todoroki, I would have won without even question. I wouldn't even have to gone on out like I had to. Deku, kind of uncomfortable. Now, I did see the page about me, but I didn't even bother looking at that. If I'm going to beat you, I'm going to beat you with my own skills and not, basically I kind of like cheating. He's like, I've seen your notes for all the other class 1A students. And basically, Bakugo's like, nah, bro, you have the potential to be 100 times better than me. That's the problem. So I need to know who's better. Okay, so basically, they're about to begin their duel. They're about to begin their fight. Bakugo's rearing up, and he's like, and then they basically start to fight. Bakugo's like, if you all back on me, I'll never talk to you again. Deku goes into this weird little sadistic mode. Fine then, Kachan. But remember, you asked for this. And so basically he pulls out his bat and he throws it away, throws it on the ground, throws his sword on the ground too, and then throws his brass knuckles over at Bakugo, but Bakugo weaves him. He's like, I don't know what you're planning, but it's not gonna work. And he's like, I know this. And then basically this is where the real fight begins. Grabs Bakugo, slings him over his shoulder. Bakugo tries to get up, hit him with an explosion. Deku kicks his left hand away, knees him in the face, then immediately turns around, then immediately just hits this dude in the face. Bakugo does a backflip, gets up. Deku throws a knife at him. Bakugo weaves, but when he weaves right into one of Deku's punches, slamming this dude to the ground. Boom, Bakugo does a really weird spin breakdance kick and says explosion unload and started delivering explosions. Deku jumps over this and then curve stomps his head into the ground. Bakugo tries to grab his leg, but before he could, Deku does a little side flip over away from Bakugo, gets some distance. Bakugo says, come here. The second he does this, Deku acts like he's about to do the same move. He does it. Bakugo tries to propel him around him and hit him with an explosion. But by the time he does, Deku just So anytime Bakugo does something, Deku does something in the exact same manner, but counters it very precisely. And this is how the whole fight goes out the whole time. The whole time, just counter, 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 and then Deku says, drop kick, just sends this dude flying away. And then he pulls out one like single device and he's like, all right. And he like throws it at Kacchan, but it's like a little pebble. And he's like, what do you think this is gonna do? But before he can say anything, he gets kneed in the face and then kick too. And then like when he gets kneed in the face and the kick comes up, the kick comes right back down, hits Bakugo. Bakugo does a spin, starts trying to hit this dude with a whole bunch of explosion. Deku is like weaving on some Ultra Instinct flow and just screams, no, he screams like die. And then in that brief moment, he got intimidated because it caught him off guard. And then Deku just punches him in the gut and just like elbows him in the chin. And then like he's all stumbled for a brief moment. And then he's like, all right, Kacchan, let's put it into this. He snaps his fingers. And electricity from two sides pop up, just flames and heat, flame and wind pops up from one side, and then Deku puts like something, he like clicks something and like wraps something all the way around his arm and on his leg. It's all over his body. Let's just say that. He's like, I was gonna save this, but I guess I might as well use it for the strongest person I know. He runs, cocks his hand back, and he's like, learned this one from you, Kacchan. And so he like, the way he like pushes himself around, right, is almost similar to how Bakugo uses his explosion. But before Bakugo can realize, he gets hit with a burning flame kick that like is blue flames and like burns him, just boom, boom. He gets kicked and Deku basically jumped up, got behind Bakugo, put his foot back and just kicked this dude right in the snarls. Just boom. And then when the flame dissipates, you see that his leg is bare, right? And then he takes a stance, and then when Bakugo tries to get up, he's like wind slash. And then like a mass of gust and wind pops up. Boom. And then like cuts Bakugo, but Bakugo still tries to press forward, and he's like, I'm not done. But before he can even finish that sentence, a thunderous lightning punch just pow. This dude's like really staggered, blood's coming out everywhere. He's like, what is going on? And then with this last hit, it's actually just like a palm strike. But all those, what's happening is this material he made is a very special one. When he's in a certain range of, the things he uses, he's able to amplify all of it. Basically, he's able to use the elements of the individual things. But the problem is it's so strong and it's so amplified, he's only going to be able to get one solid good lick in. And this isn't something he can do often due to the simple fact of once he does this, it's going to destroy all of his equipment, and it's also going to destroy everything that he has on him. So if he has any gear of any value or anything, it's all going to get obliterated just because he's using a lot of energy. If one of y'all want to make up the signs on how this works, I'll heart it, and yeah, or I'll like tell you to change something, edit the comment, then I'll heart it or something like that. Like, hold up, I agree with everything, but fix this, that, and you get a free heart. And now with this last punch, he basically puts all of those elements together because it's almost like he's a conduit, but it actually puts strain on his body. He puts it all together, and then you just see like a massive wave of wind, lightning, really electricity, but lightning sounds cooler. Lightning, wind, fire, all of that. Boom! And Bakugo just gets sent flying. He barely is able to keep himself in the ring, like using every bit of his explosions to keep him out from going out. All the equipment and stuff is gone. Deku's completely naked. Like, we not even been capping. But while Deku's like, he's not really a bitch. He's just Deku. And so he's like, he's like, 1 second here. He like bites, like, it's like he takes something out and like puts like a little robe on or something, or like something just to cover his junk. He's like, all right. He's on his last legs. Bakugo is not even on his last legs. That nigga he's gone. Nigga on the verge of passing out. Like, fuck, okay? And so he does that, right? And Bakugo's like, oh, hell no, come here. And he's like trying to charge this nigga. Deku's like, what's up with it? I still got a little fighter in me. Bakugo jumps up, actually hits him with a surprise move, but before he can hit them with a surprise move, an explosion hits him in the face, but it's like basically just smoke. And Bakugo falls down. Damn it. And then Deku's like, huh? No. We got it even better. I want to make it a little more clemency. They actually throw hands in this last like big moment. It's just Bakugo's getting the lead, and he just start beating him. And then right when Deku hits, Bakugo blocks or parries, and then just goes in for explosion, and then you get the little puffball. And they're both falling, and then Deku like has like a flashback of his childhood about how he wanted to become a hero, and he's like, he stands up for like a brief moment before fully falling while Bakugo falls. He like does like a pose, and then he collapses down. And yeah. So, yeah. Bakugo isn't angry like in canon. Everyone literally had like the best time of their life because they just saw like this God tier match. Like they saw God tier matches after God tier matches. You know what I'm saying? So now that we got that out of the way, and the Calvary battle, I skipped it. I realized I skipped it, but I'm doing a really long what if, and oh, I forgot about it. That doesn't even matter. No one cares about it. Who's writing what and doing what in this context. But I really just forgot about it. And Shinzo, he didn't really get forgotten. He just got like 6th place or something. All right, Deku probably beat him or something. I just want him in here, of course. That might make sense later, depending on how the manga plays out. I don't know. So now, everybody make their hero names. Deku just goes with Deku because of Uraraka. Bakugo just goes with Dynamite or something like that because it's a lot more tame because Deku's there with them. And then Bakugo's like, I'm not gonna lose to you next time. And he's like, yeah, you probably won't. I just got lucky. Bakugo actually gets annoyed at like this version of Deku in a different way. And so now we're just basically that nothing special happens. Everybody make their hero names, and if I remember correctly, we gotta go. Where do I need to go with this? We need to go to the Beast Force training, which Deku, unlike everyone else, the second they got on the bus, he actually did some subtle shit and ran. He like dipped out on like the swiftness. So everybody fighting these robots and all this, not robots, like, you know, golems and stuff like that. And yeah. And Bakugo was thinking like, where is Deku? And Uraraka and Kirishima, Todoroki, they're like, yeah, where is Deku at? Hold up. So yeah, they doing all this fighting and stuff, right? Man, they exhausted, they are tired and all this stuff. Then Azawa and them like, yeah, y'all gonna have to, we was gonna make y'all food for y'all for this first day and then let y'all be on your own, but someone beat us here. Deku, just coming out the shower, got his hair freshly washed, smelling good, feeling good. He feel nice. He's like, oh, hey guys. Everyone's looking like, hey, what the fuck? Bakugo's about, like, what the fuck, nerd? With Todoroki, Uraraka, Kirishima, they all looking like, huh? He's like, oh yeah, no, 100%. I was doing some research, and I realized like I know what this training was. He did this a couple years back, like blah blah blah. So I just took a shortcut. He's like, oh, so you're not gonna tell none of us? Hey man, listen. Anyways, I made food. Everybody eat good. We eat good out here. So that's what the nigga's saying and shit, right? Eat good, everybody eat good. I made food for all y'all niggas. I'm about to like go work on some designs before going to sleep. So when y'all niggas don't smell like hot dog water, and yeah, go ahead and take a shower. Don't worry, the food gonna be nice, warm, and all that shit. I'm gonna take my plate back to the back and go do my stuff. Cause I already got my room already set up. I already had this plan. We can say your boy Deku got like a capsule or something. All right. He's like, I already got my stuff. I'm good. I don't know about y'all little niggas. I'll catch y'all niggas later. He just walks out. Almost everybody mad, but they can't be mad because the food smell good. So everybody go take a shower, get cleaned up with the swiftness. They started grubbing down there. Basically, your boy Deku got like some vegan shit down, right? He got it packed with nutrients. He's got it packed with all sorts of stuff. These niggas feel like they're at fucking A1 game again. And he's like, hey, oh, this nice. And so everybody back up and they all go over what your boy Deku said. It's like, at least bare minimum Bakugo Uraraka Kirishima. Bare minimum. And maybe Todoroki, because he fucks with everyone else and they fuck with Deku, so let's come over here. So they hop out, right? They do their thing and stuff. And they all like, yeah. They all just chilling. Your boy Deku's like, all right. He's like, here, I got some new designs for y'all niggas. Here you go, Kirishima. Here you go, Uraraka, Bakugo, Todoroki just minding his business. Here you go, Todoroki. I've seen a lot of flaws in your quirk usage. And yeah. Now, when the villains attack, they're still going to be trying to get Bakugo. But they're also going to we could just say they're also going to be trying to get Deku because he's quirkless, but he shows great potential, and they know how the society treat quirkless people. They know how society treat quirkless people, and blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to get him to. So a lot of stuff doesn't play like it does in canon, right? So when Muscular pulls up, Deku's the only one that knows. He knows about Muscular. He also knows about people. He has a lot of knowledge because he did a lot of research. That's where a lot of his stuff. When he does research, bro, he's on like what if Gohan training kind of flow, right? He's like, he'll train, but also like listen to audio files or have it to where it's audio so he can like keep training and also listen. Like he actually liked training. It had like addictive properties since it releases endorphins and stuff. So he actually likes training fairly oftenly. So he's doing that shit, my nigga. And he's like, oh, it's Muscular. And he knows about this dude's quirk. So he's like, all right, I got something for you. He pulls out a little something. And like, he's like, what's up? Muscular's like, yeah, get out of my way, brat. And like, he about to try to like one-shot Midori. And Midori's like stupid and like zaps his whole nervous system. And Muscular slumped out on the ground. He's like, hey, yo. He's like, yeah. And then like Deku just got like this weird sinister look on his face. I don't know what the kid's name is, but he's like, look away. He's like, I don't have to. And when he says I don't have to, Deku just shot mean killing it in his way. Look away. As he pulls out like a special like little knife. You don't want to, and cover your ears. You don't want to hear this. And then all you hear is blood-hollering cries of scream and anguish. And Muscular basically told him they're trying to find Bakugo, you know. And prior to the experiments. And so Deku basically gently and surgically, with swiftness, it wasn't that hard. Like he's got special tools for it. He basically cut off the ligaments of all this dude. Like, so he's not getting up, okay? He put this dude on his back, punched him one good time in the face, bitch. And yeah, the thing he hit him with zapped most of his shit. So like, even if he could do anything, or even if he could use his quirk, most of his like cognitive functions and stuff like that is off balance. So he can't manage as he is now. So they could just bitch ass nigga. He grabs this little nigga and like he just starts running. He's just got decent speed on him. He sees that he basically gives the kid to Zawa. He runs off. There's more people that need my help. Zawa's like, damn, he a real one. And he also tells them there's a villain Muscular up top somewhere. You might want to get him before he bleeds out or dies. And then Toyami Dark Shadow nigga, he bugged off the perk. He's like, God damn, he just looking at the dude. He's weaving the stuff for the most part. It's like not really big body. While the dude with all the arms and ligaments and stuff, he's like, yeah, what are we gonna do? He's like, don't worry, I got this. He's like, buddy, calm down. And he's like screaming it though, but he's like, treat him like a homie. Ask him. So while Dark Shadow is in the escape with his quirk and stuff, he hears Deku's voice saying, ask him why he's doing this. And basically, long story short, dude basically befriends. It's like, I'm scared. I don't want you to be in danger, and something to that effect, right? So instead of him being out of control, he actually learns how to control it, right? Then when he learns how to control it, it's similar to how he is in the future manga, where he has a little more control and he's able to use his ability a lot more effectively. So he does this when that tooth dude comes through, he gets like, titty smacked and just smacked away. You feel me? And so that happens, all right? Now, after he gets smacked away, Dark Shadow is completely just slumped, all right? He's like a little tired, and it wouldn't even make a difference because when the magic dude and Mr. Compress and when Dobby, they come through or whatever, it's war. Deku doesn't have as much cuts and bruise, but when that fire come through, that's a different story. He's able to block and help shield most people. Todoroki, Kirishima wouldn't be with them because he felt the thing. So Todoroki, Bakugo, Uraraka, and Sue, they eventually all meet up. Eventually, so they're trying to fight Compress, Dabi, and Toga. You feel me? And Toga's on her big body. She got a little blood from Uraraka. She didn't get enough from the Toad bitch. So she gets that shit, right? And when she gets a little blood, they just actually are trying to throw hands. Flames are going over. Compress is trying to grab these niggas. And what ended up happening, right, is everybody, Bakugo, Deku got captured, but they were fighting. The gang was trying to fight back. And basically, they were able to get Bakugo and Deku out for them clutches. But long story short, Dabi was leaving or whatever, and he was able to he was going for Bakugo, and Deku grabbed Bakugo, basically flung him out the way. But since it was just at an odd angle, the dude grabbed his throat, and he couldn't kick him out of the way and then bounce out the way himself. He was in the way too. So Dabi's like, you're not the one I was going for, but I'll take you too. And then Deku giving these niggas the peace sign. Catch y'all niggas later. He's like, catch y'all niggas later. Bakugo throws something at the dude at Deku, and he's like, yeah, catch y'all niggas later. I'll be back. And so that's where I would end it off, but I'm gonna continue all the way through. And so now we're going to the aftermath. Everybody's like, we gotta go save him. They try to go save him. All Might has to throw quality hands. Kirishima's crying. No one knows why he's crying, but it's obvious. And if it isn't, he has one for all. And yeah, but while all this was happening, especially when the villains came to help, Deku's just like, oh, All Might. He doesn't really care for All Might. He's like, oh, all right, bet. They all get teleported. He's basically in the place of Bakugo. So he's throwing hands with all these villains, but instead of losing, Bakugo gave him the tiny little, it's like a little grenade shape, but when he presses it, it opens up and gives him a good chunk of his tool. We could just say it's a capsule, really, like Dragon Ball Z. Deku's smart, and if he focuses on him, I feel like realistically he can make something close to this or somewhat, relevant. So he grabs it, and he has all his weapons he needs. He has a bow staff, but instead of just a regular bow staff, it has sticks at both ends. He's swinging that around. These niggas are trying to throw flames at him. He's like, nah, y'all got it. And so he's throwing hands, right? And he sees All Might fighting. He's trying to stay away from the fight. Everybody helps him out. Deku gets out of there. The whole crew, they get teleported out of there. Then we're gonna have it to where All Might, gotta go plus ultra. Oh god. Gotta go plus ultra and beat, all for it. Now we're gonna get into I'm thinking I'm pretty much done here. I might have missed something. I do apologize if I did miss something. All for one, nothing special happened, just the aftermath. No one knows that Kirishima has one for all because it's really not important right now. Everyone works on a special move, but Bakugo doesn't need to do this much. He just works on training his quirk. Bakugo's flame, Deku, Todoroki's flames are really good. His ice is really good. Then they fight Miriam. Miriam one-shots everyone except Deku. Deku's like, permeation. I'm surprised you had such a quirk. But how are you going to really beat me? Since I knew this was possibly going to happen. He pulls out like a special little suit he has. Yes, y'all can make the joke he's basically like Batman, I guess. But all he does is research and train. Like, it wasn't originally he wasn't going to be big body with it, but when he like one time he was listening to like a podcast of like quirks and the injustice of Quirk Society, he's just like, damn, I might as well just do a couple sit-ups and I might as well do a couple push-ups and yeah, it was down uphill from there. And so he's like, all right, bet. Let me show you a little something I've been working on. He's a guy like this spike jacket, so it's like spikes everywhere, even on his fists and stuff. But they're in such a way to where they don't hurt him. He's like, now how are you gonna get through this? He said, simple. Boom, pops out behind him, goes for the head. Deku, joke's on you. He's like, huh? What do you mean? And then like as he says that, it like wraps around his whole head, and then Mirio's like, huh? He's like, so what? You can't hit me, I can't hit you. Don't you think this is fair? And Miriam's like, huh? And so basically, he's like, the student's gonna hate me for this one, but I got the antidote. He goes in his back pocket, or like a back pocket of some sort, and pulls out a gas or a little weapon. He throws it up in the air, and then he snaps his hands, and then boom. Smoke fills the room. And he's like, yeah. Todoroki, Ozawa, y'all might want to leave. They all step outside and like we could just say he throws them some mask or something. And yeah, so Mirio's like, well, what's your game plan here? Well, you do have to breathe in and you do have to hold your breath when you're using quirk. But what happens when you come out of using permeation? I don't know. Your quirk. God damn it. Your quirk or whatever. He's like, okay, so he realizes it. It's like, phew. He pulls up on him. Every time he hits, it's going through, throwing through. He's like, damn, this nigga's on his Obito flow. He's like, huh? What's an Obito? He's like, don't worry. It's a multiverse reference. And he's like, what's the multiverse? And basically, they just start duking it now. And Mirio's like, hold up. I kind of need to breathe. But if I breathe, he's like, exactly. He had to breathe in. And then when he had to breathe in, he got hit by those spikes. He got a kick. And then he like backs off and goes back into his permeation. And like he's like basically, he permeates outside, tries to get a little breath in, and like goes back. But like the problem is he got hit with one of those spikes. And spike slows your adrenaline down. It basically makes you really calm. And Deku just gets out a mini vacuum. Yep. All I do is make support items. And I have a friend. He has like a flashback to one girl. Anytime I give her blueprints, just give it a day or two. She'll make something else. I might marry that girl. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about my love life in this episode. He puts the little, theme down. He's like, all right, Miriam. I feel, nigga's like, he wants to fight, but he's like, damn, I'm feeling. It triggers all the stuff in your body. Basically, activate the melatonin. It basically makes you really, really calm and relaxed. And he's like, you lost, buddy. He's like, oh. Good stuff. And then he just basically plumps down on the ground butt naked. Nigga looking goofy. Deku puts the clothes back on this nigga. Picks him up. Yeah. It wasn't actually poison either. It was just like smoke color purple. He's like, and Azawa comes back, so what about the cure? He's like, what cure? For the poison. What poison? Azawa, huh? Yeah, it really wasn't poison. It was like a big bluff. I mean, it makes you Deku with mask on, basically looking at them with mask on. I mean, it makes you itchy a little bit, but like it'll go away in a couple hours or whatever. Like, yeah. And yeah, basically niggas looking goofy. So let's see here. I think that happened, and when the overhaul arc happens, Kirishima will be replaced with Deku. I really don't even want to do the overhaul arc because I don't really see it being, because I don't see Kirishima going big body like Deku, because Deku's mainly, what I'll say is he comes through and this is how I'm gonna do it, right? Kirishima's gonna know when Ares pulls up on him, he's gonna be like, oh hell no, something's wrong. And so he's gonna keep the kid. Miriam's gonna try to, like, brush it off, and he's like, no, read the situation. You're supposed to be 3 years, a year or two ahead of me, blah blah blah. And then overhaul tries to attack Muriel, drops him, but then he puts down Kirishima puts down Ares, and he goes like 30 something percent, and just like they just start tag teaming this dude and just fold up on him, and then they do a police report or whatever, and he's knocked out. They get him. They realize he's actually Night Eye actually pulls up, reads his future and stuff, and realize he was plotting a lot of bad stuff. And so they lock him up in Tartarus. That is going to be a justification for it. We're also going to say that Shigaraki still got, lost that person, and he's still going to fight the Liberary Peoples and all stuff like that. But that is as far as I can go, all the way to the overhaul arc. I swear to God, if people don't watch this, I will scream. If you made it this far, give me a goddamn like. Go down to my magical link. It'll have my Dragon Ball Z, my Naruto, and my gaming channel. I've only uploaded a few videos, but I'm going to see if I can get some subs over there first before I start uploading too much. Catch you later.